Hey guys, GHZD here, back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the lucky items myth. Okay, so unlike my normal format for the Realm Busters series, this one is actually going to be a little bit more of a discussion because there isn't actually a way for me to prove or disprove this myth as being true unless the admins just full on come out and say, no, it's not true, or yeah, it is true. If I wanted to try and test it, I'd have to get a massive sample space whilst also simultaneously replicating the same conditions twice over with and without the so-called lucky item in my inventory, which isn't actually possible in a game so heavily based on random number generation. Alright, so if you have absolutely no idea what I'm yapping on about, essentially this myth revolves around people believing that having certain items in certain positions in your inventory increases your luck in-game for white bag drops and just general loot. I'm going to tell you right here and now that I don't believe in the myth whatsoever, and I'll go into the details why later. But I also don't have a problem with people who do think it's true as long as you don't try and preach it to everybody you see. You know, like vegans always having compulsive fits trying to tell everybody that they're vegan, you get me? So what makes me believe otherwise? Well, the simple lack of evidence supporting it isn't too promising, and the fact that there are so many different variations in the myth. I was reading your guys' comments and there were like a lucky kendo stick, a lucky fire sword in your 8th or 7th slot. Maybe it could be this way, maybe it could be that way. The fact that there are so many just screams red alarms in my head in terms of actual legitness. I have what you would call a internal locus of control. Essentially what that means is I don't believe in superstition or fate, which explains why I need facts and strong empirical data to be convinced of anything. And the fact that there isn't any to back it up other than someone's own perceived superstition is just a no-go for me. If you guys have ever seen the show Avatar: The Last Airbender, you'll remember an episode where a guy is always wearing red shoes because a psychic told him that he would find his true love whilst wearing red shoes, and from that day on, he never stopped wearing red shoes. He would never take them off. And then obviously the assumption there is, of course, he's going to find his true love if he's wearing red shoes 24/7.
I bet Aunt Wu told you to wear those red shoes, didn't she?
Yeah, she said I'd be wearing red shoes when I met my true love.
Uh-huh. And how many times have you worn those shoes since you got that fortune?
Every day.
Then of course it's gonna come true!
So what does this have to do with Realm and this myth in particular? Well, for one thing, it's a classic example of a self-fulfilling bias, because if you always have the lucky item in your inventory, you will always assume that any good loot you get will be because of it. This type of confirmation bias also applies to situations when you get loot without it, because from a psychological perspective, you are more likely to blame that situation to just random occurrence. Now, this just goes without saying, why on earth would this even be a feature? If you actually think about it, why would putting a tier 1 katana in your 7th slot, as an example, actually do anything? Why is there a need for that in the game, and why is there no evidence in any of the patch notes dictating that this is actually a feature? Especially when there is an actual way to increase loot drops with loot drop tier potions and loot drop chance potions. So essentially, if this feature did actually exist with the lucky items, it would completely render the entirety of loot drop potions completely null and void, which does not make sense to me at all. But wait, maybe you keep taking the kendo stick out of your inventory and testing it out, and it just makes it way more lucky for you. Well, to that, I will say you are just getting extremely lucky. Because if you look back at every single one of my white bag montages, I guarantee you will not find a single one where I have a deliberate use of a lucky item in my inventory, except for the first ever time I got a bracer. The first time I got a bracer, someone actually gave me a fire sword just before we started killing the boss, and he said, "May the bracer luck be in your favor." I was like, you know what, why the hell not? So I took the fire sword from him, and what do you know, I actually ended up getting my first ever bracer, and I was pretty stoked. But I do not contribute that drop to having the fire sword in my inventory at all, because I have actually had 2 more bracers since then, Each time I did not have the lucky item in my inventory, so there we go, 2 to 1 disproves it right there and then. So in saying all of that, those are the reasons why I don't believe in any of these kind of superstitious kind of myths, because it's just not who I am. I don't believe in that kind of stuff, and there is no evidence to support it actually being a feature in game. But being superstitious is just a normal human trait, and it is found everywhere in the world, so it is acceptable. I do not have anything against anybody who believes in this kind of stuff. Do what you want, do what makes you happy. If you think it makes you get better loot, go for it, I say. But I am just chucking the evidence out there. Maybe I supported your opinions already, maybe I disproved, maybe I changed your opinions, or maybe you're just saying, why the hell is this video even necessary? Because it is so obviously not true, or it's so obviously true, who knows? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.